Welcome back to Paint Raider, the channel devoted to providing feedback on your miniature paint jobs, especially where the internet has not done a very good job of providing feedback as requested. So let's take a look at this model here. This comes to us via Reddit, and it's the comment says, really proud with how this came out, but also wanting to get better. This is the first time I'd really tried lining edges, and dear God, that was stressful. The face I'm not really happy with, but in all honesty, I expected it to look worse. Any tips would be greatly appreciated, as I'm really enjoying this hobby so far and really want to improve. Okay, so let's have a look at the model here. Let's look at what this person's done. By the way, nice rack, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about paint rack there. Get your mind out of the gutter. Okay. Right, so this is a nice front view here. Side here, yeah. Back. A close-up of the shoulder pad, yeah. Front here. The crotch for some reason. And the chainsaw. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so off the bat, I mean, this is for a tabletop model. I mean, this is gonna be probably a 4. It's, you know, it's got good vibrant colors going on here, and you know, the highlighting is a challenge. We can talk about that, but it at least provides good separation between a lot of the elements here. You know, the only thing is really, I mean, this base is not done, right? In my opinion, that's not a done base. And we should probably add some flock onto that or something, right? But as a tabletop model, it's looking pretty good. But of course, there's always things that could be improved upon. So let's talk about it. Okay, so I think the very first thing that really pops out is this technical effect here when it comes to blood. So it depends on the look that you want, right? And the story that you're trying to tell. This technical paint is good. It's really good for conveying fresh blood. Like you just hit somebody and the blood is spurting right now. Like that's sort of the idea, right? And what happens a lot of times is that it can be abused to the point of being getting carried away with it. It's a little over enthusiastic with the blood, right? So there's just blood everywhere, and you know, some of it makes sense. Right, like obviously on a chainsword makes a lot of sense. Where it doesn't make as much sense is like, why is it on the butt of this gun, on the shaft, like on the side of the gun here, right? Why is it so far like on his right wrist? You know, like it's just an obscene amount of blood. Blood over here, blood on the ground. You know. Where was it? What else was it? Yeah, okay. Blood here. I mean, maybe there's a story of that he stepped in some blood, but then it just doesn't make sense with the scene, right? Like, where's this blood coming from? Right? Is he stepping backwards then? I don't know. So, when it comes to this, these effects, less is more, right? A subtle amount of blood, you know. And you can always go in and, you know, just dip in a little bit more. Nothing's, you know, it's a finishing touch, right? But it doesn't have to be everywhere, right? And so it's a little jarring to have this much blood for the blood god be used. Okay, so that's that point. The second thing that we have to talk about is on the highlighting. Okay, now in the comment he does say that it's his first time really trying to he says, I really tried lining edges, and dear God, that was stressful. Okay, so what we're talking about here is edge highlighting, I believe, right? Not black lining, and he found it stressful. I mean, sure, if it's your first time doing it, it's going to be stressful, right? Because the way that you're painting, it's going to be on such narrow edges. So my feedback here is that, okay, this is a good attempt, very good attempt. So you stressed out, but you did pretty well, in terms of the edge highlighting. How I would suggest that future edge highlighting be done, because the problem that we have, it's not a problem, okay, but like, let's just say that if we're focusing on improving what we're doing, then we'd want these edge highlights to be a little bit more just on the edge and a little less chunky / inconsistent in thickness here, right? So you can see here it's like that, and like this, you can see how it bubbles out, and then it's like this, right? A lot of this has to do with the way that you're brushing the edge highlights. I don't know if a lot of people ever explain this explicitly, but really the way that I would attack edge highlights is with the side of my brush. So if you were to think of this edge here, right? You're not wanting to, if this is like the tip, like the bottom of this magnifying tool was the tip of my brush, I'm not going to try to draw it in with my tip here, because that's how you get this like inconsistent size, is because it's, sometimes you put a little bit more pressure, like a tiny amount, like imperceivable amount of pressure, and you put a little bit more paint flows then, and then you let go and it becomes like almost barely touched. And so like that's how you get this sort of like inconsistency, right? You go with the edge and you do this, and you just, the flat side of the brush, and you just very, 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 very lightly touch it. That would make a big difference in the cleanliness of the edge highlight. And even if you do make it a little bit fat, which happens to the best of us, it's not a big deal. But the step that's missing, or seems to be missing in my opinion, is going back in and cleaning it up. So if I had this, like, say, right knee here, I'd come in with the same base color that you have here, and then just try to really clean that up so that way the highlight is tamed back towards the edge only. Same here on this, I don't know, knee, thigh pad part, right? This needs to be straightened out. So if you can try to straighten this stuff out with just going back in with the base, that will help with the overall tidiness of the model, right? The next thing is really to talk about value changes. Now there is actually some very good stuff happening here. The bottom of this leg, we should talk about it. The knee pad in shadow. Good job. Here, you're doing it at least. This looks a little cartoony in that, like, it's almost like those cars that get rust proofing and then you see the oil from the rust proofing come out. But the idea is sound, right? Where you want this to be darker. I wouldn't even be that afraid to make a lot of this part a lot darker, like as dark as this, all the way up here, and even this bottom part of the foot, and even this and this and this, right? So a lot of stuff that's in shadow should be dark, right? That's just the way shadows work. Not everything can be equally as bright, So like you can see here, this should just be more shadow extended up, right? So I'd like to see more value differences, but I have to acknowledge what's been done. And you know what? Good for you to attempting it and doing it, right? So so I wanted to point that out specifically. Okay. So the last two parts. One is on black lining. I know I've talked about it in other videos before, but you see here, like these dark channels here, the grill here, right? Those are in deep shadow. This should be really dark, like black even, right? Even this should be black, or that could be black. The separation that you get from that will help really make it more readable. Right now it's all sort of blue, darkish blue, and like you have to like look at it like this, but if you really were to like soften your view of it, it's difficult to make out the detail there, right? So I would consider doing a lot more black lining. Black lining, okay, controversially speaking, I think black lining is more important than highlighting. So even if you didn't highlight any of it, you spent all the time black lining the model, it will look so much better, right? So That's just my own personal bias, maybe towards blacklining. Like here, the gun, like this part, each of these little ribs could be blacklined. This whole part could be black, if anything, right? So just something to consider, that blacklining will really help to clean up stuff and also make stuff a little bit more visible, like this line here and then into here, etc. Okay, great. Last thing, okay, I promise. The face. Okay, what's my feedback on the face? Not bad. Really not bad. There's some really good stuff that I see here. One, the googly eyes is not crazy. He's slightly googly-eyed, especially on this right side. That's a little bit bigger than really he should be. And this is also a little bit bigger, but not as crazy as this one. This one's pretty big. And I like the tonal shift here along the beard area of the face, and a little bit of red that's coming through. So those are really good things that are happening, right? What I would suggest is the darker area go around the eye. Use it to define the eyeball shape a little bit more. So on both sides here. Get this man some eyebrows, maybe even. Like, that would be okay. I think that would be fine for a Space Marine to have eyebrows. I think they're allowed. Let's talk about eyes for a little bit, right? I have a very controversial view on eyes, which is that most people, if you watch YouTube, you'll see, oh yeah, they saved the eyes till last. They use this ultra fine tip on a thing, and they just like lock in and like get an eye done, right? And yeah, they're really good painters and they can do that stuff. For let's say the regular person, what do you do about eyes? I actually think you do them first. You can do this part where it's a little bit googly-eyed, and you can come in with the darker color and just start like, shaping it, coming in a little bit more, really going in very, very controlled, like reductions until the eye looks like an eye. And then once you have the dark part there, then you can come in with the paint over it and paint the rest of the face as normal. But I think that the eyes are so important, and it's so difficult to get right, that you start with it and you can nail that, then you can do almost whatever you want with the rest of the skin. People are going to be like, wow, that model looks great, because the eyes, people will always look at the eyes. So it's not bad. Like, the face looks pretty good, but those are my comments just in terms of the eyes. Especially the eyes are so important, right? So that's why I'm talking about it so much. Anyways, those are my thoughts on this model. Let me know what you think about Lieutenant Titus, not Captain Titus. I'm sure this person's going to be doing Captain Titus soon. This was posted 3 months ago. But let me know what you think. Am I right? Am I wrong? What would you do? Let me know in the comments, and until next time, have a great night.